Friends, welcome back to the next installment of my Raid Shadow Legends series. This is a brand new account, first time playing, and I'm just about 2 weeks in on this fresh look at this game. Been having a good old time. And before we get too far into this video, if you want to have the same start I had, which is a couple of extra legendary characters and a few epics as you level up, then my partners at Raid Shadow Legends gave me a link that you can click below, and it would support the channel if you drop down below, click on that link, and get started as a new player in Raid Shadow Legends. There's also a code down there that you can enter, and that code will actually give you my, I guess you could say, main Tholin Fallbeard. So if you're gonna start the game, go down in the comments in the description, you're gonna find the link, you're gonna find the code, and join me in Raid Shadow Legends. But let's talk about what these first couple weeks have looked like as, again, a new player. First of all, super confusing, as it is sometimes with these established gacha games. There's a lot of systems to kind of go through. And as I've kind of come out of week 1 and moved into week 2, or actually almost week 3 now, what I've been doing is really trying to focus in on specific champions. So before, I kind of mainly just looked at Harvest Jack, Tholin Fallbeard, and War Maiden just to kind of get a start. And I find myself kind of stuck in certain battles. So if I go into the battles down here, you've got these different dungeons, campaigns, etc. And I was getting stuck on certain bosses within the campaign map. For example, back in hard mode, I was stuck on the last boss for a little while, and now I'm just stuck on like the brutal version of that same boss. And in the different dungeons, let me show these over here, you're gonna see on quite a few of these stages where I kind of capped out. So, they just switched it. I was literally playing this green stage like a few minutes ago. So it rolled over, now it's the red guy. But you'll see down here, like I'm stuck on stage 13, or if I look at Arcane Keep, I'm stuck at this here. I think I've only cleared this one once at stage 13. And so for me to get the better rewards, I've really got to focus in a team and, kind of start empowering them to the point that they can clear, another, batch of these stages so I can get the good rewards. And what I've done is I did go to, what is the name of the website? I think it's called Hell Hades. And I looked up briefly a couple builds for my main champion, and that's going to be Tholin Fallbeard. I've made him my, I guess, core DPS. Now his gear set is not particularly great right now. I have started trying to refine it a little bit. So like I've got him on a 2-piece cruel set, so he gets the ignore defense. And I've got him at the moment on lifesteal, kind of for 2 reasons. One, because it allows him to kind of solo things, which helps me level up food. We'll talk about that in a few. And then also, I don't have a good amount of the, I'm trying to find the set over here, of the Savage set. So I've only had 1 piece drop. I would like to switch him into this for the 25% ignore defense, but I just don't have it, so there's no point in doing it. So I'm using lifesteal to keep him alive. And my issue is at the stages I'm at now, he can get killed pretty quickly. And so I've brought in Tagore. I'm probably saying that wrong. You know me in names, I tend to suck at them. But for Tagore, this is like my main healer. He also provides, or she, whatever, I think it's a he, provides shielding and also extra speed. So you get a heal, you get speed, you can also revive. And what I started to do as well, and you'll kind of notice it specifically here, is I've started to get them to this awakening level 3. And the reason I specifically did that is it opens up another power. And for example, if I look back at Tagore, at level 3, I want to say it opened up this piece here. So decrease the damage received by allies with 50% HP or less, so it helps them to stay alive longer. And I also did the same with War Maiden because that just, makes her stronger. And I'm working towards it on Harvest Jack. This is exactly why I was farming that green stage earlier, because he takes the green bottles. But I want to be able to open this last power. Now that the red dungeon is opened, this will be what I farm for the next day or so. Well, I guess day, 'cause it's only open for a day, because you can see that I only have him at 1 star. And if I go to the tavern, it is a bit expensive for me to do this. So I've got enough of these bottles here that I can, finish him off from that. But I would need 5 of these special higher end bottles. And even if I were to try to mix them right now, if I did all of these, this only brings me to 9. I wouldn't even have enough to convert to 1. So my best bet is to attempt to get further down in this keep and hopefully get to higher stages that have a better chance of dropping this specific reward. So that's what I'm kind of focusing on. I just want to get them to kind of rank 3. And I have already done it for another character. I'll show you another one that I've got in my kind of core team here. And that is Vergis. So I looked at all my characters and who I thought would bring the best, I don't know, synergy across this team. And Vergis is like a tank type. So he helps me stay alive and, just ultimately lets me get through some of these higher dungeons or harder dungeons. And so I literally just started leveling him today. I brought him to 5 stars maybe an hour ago. Like I was literally at my daughter's, swim thing, and I'm sitting there in the background just farming away, to get this one to level 5 or to rank 5. And so that's why it's only level 16. And same thing, like I haven't gotten crazy in the gear yet. I did put them on lifesteal and a bit of speed. Speed is such an important stat in this game. And so I'm leveling their gear when I have missions that call for it, which is why 2 of these are not leveled just yet, because it's kind of like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. And so this is the next one I'm leveling up. So if I go to like a typical team, let's go into a battle here. Let's say I go into, I don't know, this dungeon here. I don't even know if this team will be able to beat it, but this would be the team that I would be using. So you can see I've got, all the ones I just talked about, and I'll just throw them in here. I'll let them auto battle, while we talk. And so now it's all about kind of getting their gear better. It's about getting their levels up. It's about, getting them to at least that 3 stars so they unlock their powers. And then as I get, books or duplicates that I can use to upgrade their skills, I've been doing that as well. So like my War Maiden, I had originally used a couple books on her. Somebody gave me a good tip to, farm out her duplicates. So that's exactly what I did. And the other ones that are epics and such, I can't necessarily farm their duplicates. So I just have to wait for, books from mission rewards, or maybe they'll come from login bonuses, things of that sort. And so I'm kind of feeding them in. And my healer is the one that I'm giving the highest priority to for the epic level books. Legendaries, I haven't seen a book for, but because Tholin is my main, he's the one who's going to get it. Yeah, you can see like I'm getting my butt handed to me over here. So I don't think I'm ready for this particular stage, even with this team. And so my next thing that I'm really going to focus into is getting these characters to level 60. And that's just that next kind of power spike. And it is the cap for the characters is 60. Yeah, see, I can't res now because my reser over here is dead. So this guy is probably going to wipe me. I'll just let it happen here as we talk. But I want to get to level 60, and it's going to take a lot of time because if you saw my last video and if you didn't, check it out, but you have to level up the lower level characters and then fuse them. And it takes a lot of those characters to get to that level. And I will oftentimes just leave this running in the background and I'll just do multi-stage farming and I'll get my characters leveled up that way while I'm like at work or so. And even with that, I'm not necessarily getting a crazy amount of these characters leveled up. So it is definitely a long-term goal, I think you would say, but it's a fun goal nonetheless. And I'm looking forward to really kind of maxing out certain characters. Like I was saying earlier, I'm really making Tholin Falbeard my main. So yeah, I totally failed that mission, by the way. So the other thing I did for Tholin is I actually went and got up to the point that I got 800 of these gems, which allowed me to buy the mastery scrolls. I just have to hit level 60 to get this last node down here, or at least get up to, where I can get to level 60. So that's why I haven't gotten that node there. But I did that, and I would recommend that you do this if you're playing the game as well. I did that by really focusing in on 2 things. One is these missions. You'll see now that I'm past this first here, and actually I got the 800 before I got this done. This was today that I got this done. And this, I've just kind of been making a focus now. So you can see I was farming this earlier. I got to get 5 more of these bottles. And then, this one's already done. Then I have to do, 5 stages of the Dragon's Lair, so forth and so on. But there's a lot of good rewards that can be, achieved by going down this path. And it's kind of built as a leveling track. And so I played catch up, got caught up to where I'm at now. And now I'm just kind of farming through this. So that has gotten me a lot of, these different rewards and a lot of things I need. You can see some of the, mid-tier red bottles I'll need. And then I also focused in the campaign, I went back to normal and hard, and you're going to see I did a whole lot of 3 stars. So my normal is fully 3-starred now. My hard is fully 3-starred except for the final boss of it. This one I can't yet solo with Tholin Falbeard, and he does too much damage. He takes out my other characters. So I'll come back to this maybe after he gets to level 60. I'm not too particularly worried about it. And then Brutal, what I did is I just put it on auto and went as far as I could. So a lot of these, I have a lot of room to get stars, and that's, perfectly fine. And so, apparently I had more I could collect. And so that got me a lot of rewards that helped me kind of catch up and level a little bit. And I think that ultimately that kind of closed that gap quite a bit on getting my 800 gems or whatever it is. And so now my next kind of goal is to do something similar where I'm less concerned about those stars until I kind of hit my next power spike. But on the missions, I do want to go through and keep doing what I'm doing here, which is just kind of check them off as I go, rather than having to play catch up later. And what I do is I try to find ones where I can stick a few lower level, champions into, so I can level them up so that I can start, combining champions and getting them up there and up there. And what I need at the moment, if I go to the tavern, is to upgrade his rank. You're going to see I've got, 1 turkey. So that's all I have that I can use to upgrade him. But I need 5 5-stars, and I'm not going to burn, the other level 50 characters that I have, obviously. So what I need to do is get a stable of 4 stars that I can level up. And you can see that I've kind of started to do that. So I've got, this 4-star ready. I've got this one ready. And, I have to get enough 4 stars and then break them through to 5 stars. And this is why it takes so long. So I ultimately need to get 2 more fully leveled 40s. That way I can get them to the point that they can break in the 50s. But then I'll also need to get 4 level 1 4-stars for each of those. So that's another 16. So I've got a lot of leveling to do. And you'll see I've got certain champions that I'm working on. So this one's a 3-star or 2-star, 2-star. And so they just kind of go into my farming stages, like I said, when I'm at work or something like that. And I can let it run in the background and I actually have to think about it. So that's a lot of what I've been doing. And like I said, it's really kind of come into now focusing on the teams. I would like to level Painkeeper. That's why they're kind of sitting in here and not in my vaults. You can see I've got a bunch of, these blue ranks in the vault. And the I don't want to call it an issue, but from what I understand of Painkeeper, they're really good, but they're really good when you can get them ranked up. And so I don't have any, duplicates or anything that I can really do with this character right now. And so I'm just going to kind of shelve them momentarily and focus on the team that I can level and that I can, kind of get to where I need. And later on, I'll come back and probably focus in on Painkeeper when I kind of see what's a more reasonable way to get duplicates. It doesn't sound like there's a stage I can farm. If you know something about Painkeeper, let me know. Because first of all, y'all know that purple is my favorite color. And this character design looks awesome. I love the purple hair. They got this like roomy thing going on. The shield, like this whole vibe, this works for me. So I would love to throw this in my roster, but I just feel like at the moment, I'm probably going to get a bit more out of the 5 that I have. And another one that I would like to level at some point, and they're sitting in my Guardian ring, is this one right here. What the heck is their name? Ugo or something like that. Let me see if I can find them in my champions. But from what I understand, this is a pretty decent character as well. And it's one of my epics, and actually one of the epics you can get too, that I got from the link to start my account. And it's the same link I'm giving to you. I don't have anything different than you do. So I want to level this one up. And then when I hit level 40, I'll see what that champion is, what they can do, what their powers look like. And I want to be able to put them in the roster as well. So those are kind of the focal points of my leveling. And I feel like by really focusing down a handful to start and getting them up to that level 60, getting them built out a bit, getting them some decent gear, that's going to enable me to, again, kind of come back into these dungeons and really push them to higher levels. Like I really want to get this to where I can do the stage 20 and I'm getting the super rare materials or the higher level materials, whatever you want to call it, so that I can more efficiently do ascensions and not waste so much stamina getting a bunch of lower level bottles that I then have to combine up or whatever. And then I can also do things like I just started Spider's Den today. And so you can see I'm stuck on level 8. Maybe I can beat it. I haven't tried it this afternoon, but I want to get down in here and get better level rings, better level amulets, better level banners, so I can really kind of kit out my characters. So my whole next week, and we'll circle back a week from now and we'll talk about what my count is looking like at that point in time. But my whole next week is going to be all about trying to get Tholin Falbeard to level 60. I have a singular focus. Well, I guess it's 2 things. That and again 3 stars. So tomorrow, I guess halfway through tomorrow. I don't know when the server cutover is. I think it's like 5 o'clock my time. But in any case, they just opened the dungeon to farm out these red bottles. And so a lot of my stamina is going to be going there. I've got about 400 left right now. Hopefully I get some more rewards to bump that up because this will go away really quickly otherwise. But I want to try to get some of these bottles, maybe get them at least 1 more star this week. And then we'll see if I can get them to the 3rd star by the end of the 4th week. And then I want to really focus in on just getting characters leveled for food and getting them into Tholin, so I can level 60. The other thing I'm kind of sort of flirting with and testing is we have an event, and it's to get the shards to unlock this particular champion. So I forget what this guy's name is, but to do it, you have to participate in these tournaments and some events and basically get a certain amount of points to where you get these shards. Now, the issue I'm having with that is like this one, you get a certain amount of points for getting a certain level of artifact. And I was farming this earlier today to test it out. I got a total of 51 points and I used a lot of stamina to do that. And I'm not even remotely close to this 950. This ends in 2 days. So I really feel like these tournaments, though good, are not for new players. I think this is where it's got to be someone who is like farming out the top end, because this one's Fire Lord. So if I were to go to this one, this is as high as I can get. I bet it wants somebody that can farm this stage or can get into hard mode, which I can't even get to hard mode yet. So if I was in hard mode, you know, up in the higher levels, I bet that I could come through here and get enough artifacts to be efficient at leveling in that tournament. But for now, it doesn't look like I can be. And then for the event, same thing, gear hunters. I'm getting a ton of gear just from trying to farm out these stages. And even with that, I'm not even at the 250 mark. So for me to get all the way to 2,700 or yeah, I think it's 2,700. I just don't think it's for the new player, which is a bummer. It's a total bummer. If you play the game and you know something I don't know that helps to get through these better, let me know, because I don't see in 2 days how my stamina could get me to that level and the tournaments and everything else. And then you've got Summon Rush, which is the more you summon, the more points you get. But summoning, I don't have a lot. I've got 400, which sounds like a lot. It's really not. And then I got my first purple shard and I'm just waiting for something that would make sense for me to pull on here. And I've got 12 of these blue ones. So I like that they have these events, but I don't feel like they're really targeted towards players like me. Sadly, but whatever. There's plenty of things for me to level up in the meantime. And then I want to say it's level 40. I open up, Doom Tower. And so I do hope I get to level 40 pretty quickly, because this looks like where I can come in and farm out certain things I need for the forge to get the sets that I want for Tholin. So I'm trying to get him into, what is it called? I think lethal. Is it lethal? Yeah, lethal. And you need the Doom Tower to get the materials for it. I don't know how far up the Doom Tower you need to get or whatever. And so I can't start making the lethal set for him until that happens. And I mean, crit rate plus 10, ignore 25% of defense. That sounds perfect for him. So in doing all of my farming, I hope to get there quickly. I'm a level 37 at the moment. So I'm progressing. It's at a point now where it takes me a couple days to get a level, but I don't think that that's particularly terrible. And then I guess the final thing, and then we'll kind of tie off with this one, is on the guild side or clan side, I have been doing my bosses every day. I haven't gotten any more of these keys. These seem to refresh pretty slowly, but I do the Demon Lord every day, and he can drop the Cruel set that I want. He just isn't being nice to me is what it comes down to. So I will just keep pushing him every day. I don't think there's an active clan underneath me, but if you join the game, please feel free to join. It is the Bear Pack. Let me pull it up so you see the name on the screen. You can see it right here. So I think I'm the only person that's really out here doing anything. I've had a couple people log in, but that's really it. But yeah, that's it. So that is how far I've pushed in 2 weeks. I don't know if that's good. I don't have a gauge of progress. I'm not a master in this game by any stretch of the imagination here, but I do feel like I'm slowly figuring out the systems. I'm slowly figuring out how to be a little bit more efficient and how to kind of utilize these systems within the amount of time that I have to actually play the game. And then I can throw it on in the background, let it auto farm, which is kind of nice. And yeah, I'm still enjoying it. I like the grindiness. I like leveling characters. So to me, that's not a big deal. I just hope it holds after I run out of this energy, because that's been the godsend, is them giving me all this free energy, which you'll get as a new player as well. So my friends, don't forget, you can go in the description below. You can click the link, start a new account, join me with the same characters, and then type in the code for Tholin Fallowbeard. It's down there in the description. That would support me. It would show my partners that you like this content. And until our next video, our next live stream, please, my friends, take care of yourselves.